Let's go for it. Hello, YouTube. There we are. Can't see me on camera until right now. Yes, that's it. Hello, happy Friday, YouTube. And all the rest of you on the interwebs. Hopefully everything's going okay today so far. Hopefully everybody's having a great Friday morning. Got a little bit to talk about. Gonna be a little bit political today, so might throw in a little entertainment toward the end. First of all, I got to apologize. I had some technical difficulties on the last couple of streams. There was a lot of buffering, a lot of stuttering. Video was not that good. I think I got it ironed out here. So just that little bit of housekeeping out of the way. Oh, two, just before I forget. There's a couple ways you can support me on the channel here. One of them is to like this stream. Give me a thumbs up if you like what I'm doing. Also, too, if you haven't yet, give me a subscribe. Just tells YouTube, hey, we like what this guy's doing. We like what this guy has to say. Please promote his videos. Please promote his content. And share this out there with your friends and family out there on your socials. I try to post videos daily, Monday through Friday. Trying to get in the habit of doing these live streams in the mornings. Usually around 10 a.m. Eastern time. There's something big going on. I might start a little early like today. So just wanted to throw that out there. So let's get rolling, shall we? First things first. Been a lot of hubbub about what's going on in Washington. Something about a bill to keep the government funded, to keep the government open. And I, for one, really don't care if the government does shut down. Because guess what? The government has shut down before. And we're all still here. It's still functioning. Even though the government's really not functioning well. But it is functioning. So the hubbub has been over this, well, they call it a continuing resolution. And basically what a continuing resolution is they just say, hey, we're just going to keep things in place and kick the can down the road and deal with it another day. At least that's my layman's term of a continuing resolution. And so what has happened is that just a few days ago, I think it was on Tuesday, Speaker Johnson released a bill to be voted on that was something like 1,500 pages. A continuing resolution doesn't need to be 1,500 pages. What this actually was an omnibus bill. Because it had a bunch of bullshit in it that we don't need, like a new stadium for the Washington Commanders. Something about funding something regarding molasses. What else was in this thing? Oh yeah, the House was trying to protect itself against subpoenas. So if a member of the House was being investigated, it was going to be hard to subpoena any type of records from the House. Not to mention more money for Ukraine, Israel, so on and so forth. So there was a lot of bloat in there. And needless to say, if it wasn't for Elon Musk and X and people finding out about this bill would have passed. But because we have the platform we do now of X, and not only that, but I'm suspecting some people probably got a hold of this bill and ran it through like Grok or OpenAI or some sort of AI to dig into it fairly quickly to find out what was in it. So yeah, thank you to Elon. Thank you to X. Thank you to all of you out there. And I'll even include myself, the few things that I posted about the bill on social media on X. for shutting this 1,500 page monstrosity down. Now, fast forward to yesterday, with the backing of President-elect Trump, they put together another bill, another continuing resolution, and this continuing resolution, and I got a picture of it here. This is crazy. This thing, look at the stack of papers on the left and look at the little stack of papers on the right. My feeling, it could have been smaller, but I digress. This continuing resolution, the one on the right that was voted on last night, and by the way, it was voted down by the Democrats and somewhere around 38 Republicans on the right, did have stuff in it for disaster relief and was going to keep the government open. Okay. And kick the can down the road on the debt ceiling. I think the debt ceiling is supposed to come up sometime in the spring. So they voted on that bill last night. Of course, it failed. And this is just Washington is broken. Plain and simple. Washington is broken. It's come to the point now where the mask is coming off, and we're starting to see where these people that we elect to send to Washington, D.C. to represent us don't actually represent us. Don't represent we the people. They're in it for themselves. They're in it for their own. They're in it for power and to secure and maintain their own power and hold on to that power for as long as possible. Yeah, I'm talking about Mitch McConnell. I'm talking about the Nancy Pelosi's. I'll throw Bernie Sanders in there. Congress has become an old folks' home. That's what it's become. It's become an old folks' home. There needs to be a sea change. Now, as I was watching Timcast last night, I was multitasking. I was watching the NFL game on Prime on TV, and I was watching Timcast on my iPad. I think it was Phil Labonte brought it up that, the Republicans, the people that support Republicans in Congress hold their feet to the fire and expect them to do things that we want, that we sent them to go do, like cut taxes, cut spending, no more pork, no more money for Ukraine, things like that. And on the left, on the Democrat side, the Democrats, they're not going to go along with that because they don't believe in any of that shit. And the people that voted for Democrats don't believe in any of that shit. They can care less. So the people that elect Democrats to go to Congress, they're not going to hold their feet to the fire to say, hey, you need to vote for this because it's a good thing for the country. Now, I'm kind of going off of memory and paraphrasing here, but that's pretty much what was said. So here we have from the Daily Mail, Trump breaks his silence over spending bill chaos and issues warning to Congress over ridiculous debt ceiling. Donald Trump has issued a warning to Congress over the ridiculous debt ceiling and finally broke his silence over the ongoing spending bill chaos. President-elect's intervention comes after the Republican spending deal was spectacularly voted down on the House late Thursday night. On Truth Social, Trump's social media platform, he wrote, Congress must get rid of or extend out to perhaps 2029 the ridiculous debt ceiling. Without this, we should never make a deal. Remember, the pressure is on whoever is president. He's not wrong. He's not. This whole debt ceiling thing comes up every 6 months. They put a bill out there to raise the debt ceiling. They vote on it, pass it, kick the can down the road another 6 months. Speaker Mike Johnson scrambled to craft the last-minute bill to avoid a government shutdown after Trump and Musk tanked his initial plan as the clock ticks down on Friday's deadline. But the new bill, backed by tech billionaire Elon Musk, failed miserably 174 to 235, with hard-right Republicans joining nearly every Democrat to vote against it in the GOP-controlled House. I'll give you guys a little secret. Most of them are all in on it. Again, they're there to protect and consolidate their own power. That's what they're doing. Musk, the co-chair of Trump's new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, fired off a series of posts on X after the bill went down in flames, blaming Democrats. Yeah. I wouldn't just blame Democrats. I'd blame the 38 Republicans that voted with the Democrats, too. Where's it? I have it here somewhere. Here it is. First of all, I'm not the author of this proposal. Credit to real Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and Speaker Johnson. See, the Democrats tried to frame this as the Musk-Johnson bill. Elon's not even in Congress. This is just the word game that the Democrats play. Second, this is a much better bill that is closer to being a real continuing resolution, not an omnibus masquerading as a CR, but with support for hurricane victims and farmers, as well as reasonable extension to the debt ceiling. Clean and simple. If Dems reject this and government shuts down, they deserve to lose big time in the midterms. And then we have Hakeem Jeffries come out and say the Musk-Johnson proposal is not serious. It's laughable. Extreme MAGA Republicans are driving us to a government shutdown. Well, you know what I say to a government shutdown? Good. Shut it down. That just means we're not spending any more money that we don't have, by the way. So yeah, shut it down. Now, keep in mind, as pointed out by Freedom, this is the same Hakeem Jeffries that put this out there. And you know, we have such short memories. Russia interfered in the 2016 election in sweeping and systemic fashion. Trump campaign welcomed their assistance. They helped elect the so-called president. Individual number one is at it again. Election denial is a sickness that is poisoning our democracy. Oh, how they forget. Funny how a straightforward CR suddenly becomes extreme when it cuts out the pork. Exactly. 100%. Yeah, it's so extreme that we can't build the Washington Commanders a new stadium. It's so extreme we can't do anything with studying molasses. It's so extreme that we're going to allow people to investigate members of the House if they break the law. Don't give Democrats an inch, just clean up the government, whether they like it or not. If this one doesn't pass, I bet the next version of the CR is one page. It should have been one page all along. Could have wrote it on a napkin at a diner. Facts don't matter with Democrats. Yeah, well, facts don't matter with some Republicans too. So there's that. Let's see here. House Dems and GOP hardliners team up to tank Trump-backed funding bill as government shutdown looms. Ooh. Congress is one step closer to a nightmare before Christmas. A House Republican measure to avert a government shutdown went up in flames Thursday. Blah, 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 blah. 20 lawmakers did not cast a vote on the spending patch. Only 2 Democrats, Reps Marie Klausenkamp Perez of Washington and Kathy Castor of Florida voted in favor of it. Rep. Marcy Kaptur voted present. See, that's something else that needs to be fixed in Washington. You know, if you want to put all this BS in a bill and make it a 1,500-page monstrosity, why can't we just vote on those items one by one and force people to show up in Congress? Because here's what happens in Congress. Here's what they do. They get elected. They get sworn in January. They take office. And then they start fundraising for the next election. That's what they do. They might show up for a vote here or a vote there, but they spend, I would say, the majority of their time fundraising for their next election to defend their seat. They don't do their job. And by the way, I forgot one thing. In this bill here, Congress was voting for a pay raise. They wanted to give themselves a pay raise. Right now, a member of Congress makes somewhere around $174,000 a year. They want to give themselves a pay raise up to $234,000. So I forgot about that until just now. The new funding deal would have kept the government lights on for 3 months, re-upped farm aid, added a 2-year suspension of the debt limit until January 30th, 2027, and replenished $110 billion in disaster relief while cutting out other aspects of a prior deal that went up in flames on Wednesday, according to the 116-page bill's text. Elon Musk, who backed the new bill, tore into House Democrats, specifically Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, for taking the measure. Democrats wasted little time mobilizing against the spending patch during a subsequent emergency caucus gathering. Chants of hell no were heard from members huddled in the meeting room. Hell no, we can't vote for that. We're not getting our shit in it. That's basically what they're saying. We're not getting our way. We're not voting for that. None of them appeared to have specific grievances against the content of the bill, which was a watered-down version of what they previously backed. Instead, they were perturbed by what was left out and alienated that Republicans reneged on the prior deal in the 11th hour. Boo-hoo. There's one part I want to get to here about this, and it's about... where is it at? I lost it. I lost it, man. Oh, this woman from Washington, Rosa DeLorio. This is what we're electing to Congress and have been electing to Congress for the last few years. And you got, I'm just gonna play this. Let you guys judge.
Read on a bill. They signed it. And you know what? They got scared because President Musk told them.
Yeah, President Musk. Yeah. This is the game they play. This has always been the game that they play.
President Musk said, don't do it. Don't do it. Shut the government down. Imagine. What does he know about what people go through is when the government shuts down.
He's just a billionaire. What does he know? Shut the government down. How dare he? I've said it once. I'll say it again. I'm fine with the government shutting down. Good. I can go back to the days where I used to listen to Rush Limbaugh back in the 90s. Date myself a little bit there. And there was always threats of the government shutting down. And the government did shut down. Good. That just means they're not spending any more of our tax dollars. They're not spending any more of our money.
Are his employees furloughed? Hell no.
No, because he's a private company. That's why. These companies make money. You know, that's a foreign concept to a lot of these people in Congress who've never run a business in their lives. They have no idea, no clue. If we ran the government like we ran like a business, we wouldn't have $36 trillion in debt. We wouldn't be spending money we don't have.
Is he furloughed? No. And when you shut the government down, people don't get paid. And maybe if none of us got paid if the government shut down, some people on the other side of the aisle would feel differently.
Maybe some people on your side of the aisle would feel differently if you didn't get paid. Projection, projection, projection. Let's project. That's what these people do. It's called the Linsky tactics. Look it up.
About where we're going in this effort. We had an agreement. But you know, this is not different from what we've experienced over the last year and a half or so. Think about it. Biden, McCarthy, deal, come together. Next day, walk away. Johnson, Schumer, deal. Next day, walk away. And now this deal, walk away from it. Who do we trust in this body? And above all, can the American people trust us?
No, the American people can't trust you. Because you're there for your own self-interests. You're not there representing we, the people.
Trust us with their lives. When we had a moment, when we came to agreement as Democrats and Republicans, and then we were able to say, let's move forward.
Only because it had a bunch of bullshit in there that you liked. But now that we have a bill that's pared down from 1,500 pages to 116 pages without all the BS in it, oh, no, can't do that. You're being mean.
This country, you know, one of my colleagues, I think it was Congressman Neal, who said this.
So that's the type of people we have, at least on one side of the aisle in Congress. That's a excellent example. I got to get into this because not only are the Democrats mad and 38 Republicans mad, but Dan Crenshaw's mad. He went off the rails a couple days ago because he got called out again. And dude, people in Texas, people in Dan Crenshaw's district, it's time for him to go bye-bye. It's time. He is John McCain 2.0. Totally. So I don't know all the details of this, but Nick Sorter put out this post on Wednesday over on X. And it was about Dan Crenshaw is spearheading the effort to get a pay raise for Congress. Last week, when he was asked about his stock trading, Crenshaw whined that members of Congress haven't had a pay raise since 2009. Oh, no. Oh no, not that. Not a raise since 2009. So I think this is the interview. So I'm gonna play it for you. Just get a little listen here.
Vote for a ban on Congress members trading stocks?
Yeah, I mean, this is like number 1,000 on my priority list of things to care about.
Yeah, of course it is, because he's made a bunch of money off of trading stocks while being a member of Congress. Just like Nancy Pelosi. See, these people get elected into office. They have a salary that they get, which currently for a Congress member, unless you're Speaker of the House, it's more. But if you're just a run-of-the-mill congressman, congresswoman, whatever, it's $174K a year. But when these people leave Congress, they leave multimillionaires. That's what happens. They leave as multimillionaires.
This is one of those stupid things that I've been dragged through the mud on. You know how much fucking money I've ever had in the stock market? About $20,000. And yet I've been dragged through the mud on this as if like there's some insider trading. I just sent a letter to Fox News, demand, a threatening letter from my lawyers, threatening them with defamation because Jesse Waters had basically insinuated that I was insider trading. Of course, it's not true. You'd be more surprised how much little information we have. This is one of those bills that, like, of course, yeah, people support it. Yeah, sure, okay. Who cares? Because I don't have any. I barely have anything in the market anyway. Are there a couple cases like wherein Nancy Pelosi has some very suspicious timing of her trades? Yeah, that has happened. But nobody else can point any other examples out. So sure, yeah, why not? Don't let us trade stocks. How about we'll just keep whipping ourselves. How about we don't make any money either? How about like just cut our paychecks?
Yeah, we should. We should cut your paychecks. That's a good idea. Being a member of Congress isn't meant to be something where you make a career out of it and you make a lot of money and then leave a millionaire. Being a member of Congress, you're supposed to go there and represent the people, represent the interests of your constituency. If you want to go make a lot of money, go start a business, go run a business, go become CEO of a massive corporation or a major corporation or a Fortune 500 company. Congress isn't designed to be some place where you walk in with nothing and leave with millions of dollars. Just like the presidency isn't designed to walk in with nothing and leave a multimillionaire. You know, President Trump, his first term in office, forego his salary as president. Guess what he's going to do when he's inaugurated in January 20th of 2025? He's going to forego his salary as president again. Dan Crenshaw is one of those, in my opinion, that is in Congress, not for his constituents, but for himself.
We haven't gotten a pay raise since 2008.
Wah! Cry me a river.
Even a COLA increase. So, yeah, no, actually, no, yeah, this is a great idea. Let's make Congress a place where only the millionaires can actually afford to do the job. This is a wonderful idea.
That's backwards, Dan.
Let's just keep doing that, because and then some it's always some member, right, who senses the populist energy and then mirrors it, believing that this is what's going to help me connect with the people. Because what do the people want? Well, they want an easy button. All my problems will be solved if there's no stock trading. All my problems will be solved if there's term limits. Yeah, but if you
Yeah, we need term limits in Congress. You make $174,000 a year as a member of the House, and you walk out with a net worth in the millions. Exactly how does that happen?
if you think about any of these things for 5 whole minutes, you might quickly.
Dude, 5 whole minutes only took me about 30 seconds to see through your BS. You condescending prick, and that's what you are.
Come to a different conclusion. Now, what I vote for? Yeah, sure. Who cares? Who cares? Like it doesn't matter to me because I don't have any fucking money to put in the stock market.
Why the attitude, Dan? So needless to say, he's getting flamed here. And that's what sent him to go off the rails. And can somebody let me know? Can he be primaried this coming spring in Texas? I mean, Trump and Elon were like, "Hey, we'll primary everybody. We don't care. We'll primary everyone." Just a couple of days ago. Can we primary Dan Crenshaw and get Eye Patch McCain out of Congress? So, Cat Turd, and I love reading Cat Turd's posts on X. The wit, the sarcasm. Just love it. Love it, love it, love it. Says, yeah, get it right. Dan Crenshaw is the America last Ukraine first war pig who doesn't need a raise because all the money he makes when he miraculously becomes a stock expert since joining Congress. And that sent Dan Crenshaw off the rails. Anonymous coward like Cat Turd talking shit without any evidence. I'm used to it. Sorry, I was guy fighting the wars that little bitches like you would never dare to do too. One of us has actually served this country and continues to, while losers like you make money being trolls on social media. I live in Anacostia, just outside of Houston. If you think I'm rich, you're a fucking idiot. The people getting rich off politics are the influencers like Cat Turd selling their platforms to the highest bidder. Sorry to break it to y'all, that's the truth. Oh, Dan. And so Dan just gets ratioed into oblivion. Not only that, but he gets just blasted. How many L's are you looking to rack up tonight, Dan? I'm starting to feel bad for you. I wouldn't feel bad for that prick. This is the dumbest fucking post on X. You're a big fucking clown. Yeah. The Taliban is literally still running Afghanistan, but go ahead and pat yourself on the back for losing a war that cost millions of lives and trillions of dollars. Alex Stein. Boom. People need to put their feelings aside and realize Dan Crenshaw is 100% correct. The so-called political influencers on X are complete grifters. They manipulate the platform and other people's emotions to line their pockets. Their only loyalty is to their bank account. Well, okay. I mean, if you make your job being a content creator and posting on social media, and you get paid for it, so your opinion doesn't matter because you're getting paid to post your opinion, to put your opinion out there. I'm confused. Somebody correct me on that. Keep attacking the people, Dan. It's a great look for a public servant. You're really helping your case. So yeah, Dan was getting flamed. Another one that was getting flamed. I need to find it here. I just saw it just a little bit ago. Cannot find it. It was uh here it is. Chip Roy came out against the Trump, the 116 page CR that was thrown together. And see if I can find it here. Now, full disclosure, I like Chip Roy. I've always thought he's had a good mind, a good sense. And all I gotta say is, Chip, I get what you're saying about spending being out of control and increasing the debt. It's a negotiation. And I get it. I totally get it. But when it comes to let's set aside all the BS and the pork and the crap that was in the original bill. Let's just look at the 116 page CR that was voted down last night, that you yourself voted no for, by the way. I get what you're saying about cutting spending and offsets. I get it. However, it's time to, I want to say this YouTube friendly, it's time to bite the bullet as far as the debt ceiling and get a deal worked out to push to do the debt ceiling so it's pushed out till like 2029. And if that means we have to increase some spending to do it for things like, I don't know, hurricane relief, natural disaster relief, then fine. But to go to battle with the man himself overspending, you're fighting a losing battle there, dude. This is not a hill that you want to die on. This is not. So I like Chip. Anytime I've heard him do interviews like on Glenn Beck's show or anywhere else, I get where he's coming from. I like 90% of what he has to say, but in this instance, I got to disagree with him. I've got to disagree with him. So there's all the fun stuff around the CR, around the spending. Now, me, I'm a little old school. I'm a little old school when it comes to this stuff. I'm like, hey, you know what? We need to cut taxes. And the left will say, well, that's tax cuts for the rich, for the billionaires, for the wealthy. It's going to decrease our revenues coming in. No, tax cuts do not decrease revenue. Revenues actually increase when you cut taxes. Why do revenues increase? Because people have more money in their pockets and people are spending more on goods and services. That's first and foremost. Second, yeah, have to cut spending. And that's where Doge comes in. You cut taxes, you cut spending, and then you start growing. And when you start growing, then you can start chipping away at that deficit. Are you gonna recoup all $36 trillion and have a surplus in one? No, it's not gonna happen in one swoop. But you cut taxes, you cut spending. Now, if you really, 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 really want to take care of the deficit, just say no to the income tax. No more income tax. Eliminate the income tax. We go to a flat tax or a consumption tax. Because I can tell you right now, working for a tax software company a few years ago, I got a little bit of insight as to what goes on with taxes. And the number of people that are out there, granted they are low income earners or they don't make any income at all, that are getting thousands and thousands of dollars in refunds. And I'm talking $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 in a refund based on an income tax, based on an income they don't make. They make zero income. Well, guess what? You go to a flat tax or a consumption tax, and guess what? Everybody's paying. You don't have a form to fill out and send into the IRS in April, or file for an extension to file your taxes in October. You're paying as you go. And you pay on all goods and services that you purchase outside of fuel and groceries. So you go buy a car, your tax is 18%. Go buy a house, your tax is 18%. Go buy a TV, your tax is 18%. Go buy a computer, your tax is 18%. So on and 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 so on. And at the same time, the government needs to cut spending. Cut out the pork projects. No more football stadiums in Washington, D.C. So you go to a flat tax, you cut one other thing too. 3-letter agencies. They're either A, eliminated, or B, they're sent out of Washington. And I can think of a couple 3-letter agencies that can go away and those duties be delegated back to the states. One of the worst things that happened was in 1979 when Jimmy Carter started the Department of Education on a federal level. That needs to go back to the states. Article 10 of the Constitution, or I should say, not Article 10, 10th Amendment Constitution. Send that back to the states. Trim back the EPA. Abolish the IRS. No need for an IRS if you have a flat tax. use tariffs as a tool to bring manufacturing back to this country. Which is what President Trump wants to do. Those are things that could happen to turn the country around, to turn us around fiscally. Oh, yeah. In the Fed. Go back to the gold standard. Our money should be backed by gold. That way it can't just be printed and out of thin air. Make it worth something again. So, flat tax, consumption tax, I suggest 18%. I think that would work. Of course, you're still going to have your state income tax if you live in one of those states like California, Illinois, New York. Thank goodness I live in Florida now. I just lost my train of thought. Totally lost my train of thought. I apologize. Oh yeah, flat tax, 18%. So, flat tax, 18%. Cut spending. Decentralize Washington. Get agencies out of Washington. If not, cut agencies altogether like the Department of Ed and the IRS. You won't need them with a flat tax. And the Federal Reserve. Go back to the gold standard. See, we didn't have inflation when we had the gold standard backing our currency. We didn't have inflation. Inflation was a thing after Nixon in 1971 took us off the gold standard. So that's just my 2 cents. What do I know? You know, I don't know anything. I'm just a dude with a camera and a microphone and a YouTube channel expressing my opinion. What do I know? So yeah, we've covered the CR. Looks like the government's going to shut down. That's fine. That's fine. Let the government shut down. Dan Crenshaw is bad mad because he's been called out again. So not a surprise. He's been called out again, and he's mad. He's lashing out. Democrats voted against the non-pork CR. And 38 Republicans voted with them. That's fine. We know who you are. I'm sure we can primary a lot of you come spring or come next fall. That's fine. See, all this wouldn't be possible without Elon Musk buying Twitter. It would just be business as usual without Elon Musk stepping in and buying Twitter. So thank you, Jack Dorsey, for allowing Twitter to kick the Babylon Bee off of Twitter and getting on Elon Musk's radar. By the way, how's Jack Dorsey's other new platform? I guess he's not involved with it anymore. How's his other platform, Blue Sky, doing? I hear it's not so good over there. So yeah. So enough of the political commentary. I've been ranting about that for, nearly an hour. Let's get in something a little more fun, shall we? Let's talk about let's talk about Superman. New trailer for Superman dropped yesterday. Now, I like to do this. I like to give it 24 hours when a trailer drops on YouTube to get a good gauge on what the reaction is. Whether it's going to be a thumbs up or thumbs down. And I've done this with Snow White, which I think has just crossed like 1.4 million dislikes on YouTube, which is just completely insane. Of course, you know, Rachel Zegler is a very polarizing figure now. Some of the things she's said over the last couple of years. Some of it about Snow White, the story itself. Some of it about Donald Trump and Trump supporters. So she's been a little bit of a lightning rod. And you know, people don't like her stick. So this came out yesterday. In fact, it came out a little more than 24 hours ago. And all I gotta say is a lot of people are liking what they're seeing, what James Gunn's doing with Superman. In fact, if you look at the ratio here, out of just over 23 million views in one day, number one on trending, by the way. And remember, when Donald Trump was on the Joe Rogan podcast, I know there was some issues with uploading and whatnot, but that podcast episode never hit trending on YouTube. And it had something like 50 million views, and it never hit trending on YouTube. All because it was Donald Trump. That's food for thought. So, Superman trailer. So far in just over 24 hours, we got 981,000 likes, 62,000 dislikes. Now, I did a video about this. My video got copyrighted. Thank you, HBO Max, Warner Brothers Discovery. The video's over on Rumble. It's not copyrighted over there. They even hit my live stream yesterday. It's not being shown in some countries. And here's the thing. I've said this about the Eagles, Don Henley. You know, if you're on YouTube and you play an Eagles track, they will copyright you so fast. What they think because you're playing a clip of their song or you're showing a trailer or whatever, they think that by copywriting you, because they think you're taking money out of their pocket. You're not. What you're doing is you're promoting them. You're spreading the word. You're extending the reach. You're doing them a service, not a disservice. You're not taking money out of their pocket. But because they think and play by an old model, that's what they think. So they copyright you so you can't make any money off of it. In reality, you don't really make much anyway off of it. But I digress. So, Superman teaser trailer. So far I'm liking what I'm seeing. I know on social media it's really mixed. Some people just don't like this. They can't get out of the fact that this is going to be a woke piece of garbage. It's going to be a hot mess. Hollywood hasn't learned its lesson, blah, blah, blah. Yes, there's some things that probably could be better, but this is a teaser trailer. You're not going to get a lot out of the teaser trailer. Now, first thing out of the gate, we have where we see Superman falling from the sky, and he's beat up. He's beat up. He's bloody. Superman can bleed? Yeah, Superman can bleed. Superman can bleed because You know, there's a little thing called kryptonite. So you have that. Then you have cut to Young Clark, Daily Planet, where you get actually here he's whistling from James Gunn. There's Lois. The director of Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. And I will say this. I said it in my video and I said it yesterday. The music, the score for Superman, it's iconic. Now, what they did here is they put a little bit of a twist on it with a lot of guitar. Okay, fine. But they kept the essence of the theme, which is good, because when you hear that theme song, you know it's Superman. Just like when you hear the theme for Batman 89, whether it's the animated series, the Batman movies, whatever, you know it's Batman. When you hear the James Bond riff, you know it's James Bond. So they did pretty good there. You don't really get a good look at Jonathan Kent's face from what I heard yesterday on Drinker's channel on his live stream. I guess this guy's a character actor who's been in quite a bit of things. That's all I know. So here we have Superman again, back to where we started. Pretty beaten down. And here we have something's running towards him. And we have Crypto. Let's see if we can get a look at Crypto's face here. There we go. There's Crypto. And I said this the other day. I think this is the first time that we're seeing Crypto in a live action Superman. Yeah, there was the Super Pets thing done with The Rock a couple years ago. Crypto's been in the animated Superman from the 60s and I think early 70s. But we've never seen Crypto live action. Now, if memory serves, I think Crypto's actually a lab, but hey, I'll give him bonus points for having Crypto in this movie. This is where Superman Crypto tells him home, which I'm assuming is the Fortress of Solitude. So now here you got Superman doing Superman things. This is where he's fighting a kaiju in Metropolis. And we get our first shot of Lex Luthor. And Luthor Corp. Some people were like, "Hey, is this Agent 47? Is this Hitman 47th?" Just give him a red tie and you got it. Bingo. Yeah, so you got Lex here again. Not sure what this is with the glass case or the glass cage. Here you have the kid whispering, "Superman, Superman." Now, this here is interesting because this here is people are not liking Superman. Don't know why or why not. But this one dude throws a can at him. And the thing of it is, it hits him in the head and he kind of flinches, which we all know Superman ain't going to flinch. So he walks into this building, which is Stag Industries. And I'm not sure what Stag Industries is. I'm not familiar with that. Of course, I haven't been in the comics for quite a while. I'm familiar with Star Labs being part of, Superman, Batman, The Flash, whatever. So there's that. And then we get the first look at Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. See if I can get there you go. Now, one thing that was funny here is that, and I love when Stefan finds these things. Here, right here, this, right here. You pause this down here for a second. This is awesome. I just love this. She found this. Oh my gosh. So we get our first look at Guy Gardner, part of the Green Lantern Corps. We got Hawk Girl. Here's Superman fighting a kaiju. Now, I'm not sure what this green orb in the background is. This was one of the still images that was released many months ago. People were like, hey, what's that? No idea what that is. Hopefully we find out what that is before the movie comes out. I'd like to know what that is. With the colors of it, I would suspect it has something to do with Brainiac. Just by the coloring, but I could be wrong. That looks like one of the droids that protects the Fortress of Solitude when he's gone. That's what it looks like to me. Somebody want to correct that one? They can, but that's what it looks like. Got more of the Fortress of Solitude. I think that is that Mephisto or Mephisto? I forget his name, but I think that's Mephisto, possibly. Lex Luthor, some more. Crypto taking Clark home. Here's not sure what this is here. Not sure who he's fighting. Might be Lex in one of Lex's suits. Or no, that might be Mr. Terrific. No, I don't think that is. Because here's a shot of Mr. Terrific, and this is kind of a, I think that's Lois that he's protecting in that energy shield. Somebody has said, and I said this too, I think this kind of gives me a little bit of Guardians of the Galaxy vibes. Just this scene. And then you have him flying up and away. So I like what I'm seeing. I like the suit. I will definitely be in theaters on July 11th and IMAX to check it out. Some of the reaction again has been mixed. Especially over on X. It's been like this teaser trailer was boring. Hopefully the legit one will be better. Wonder if Hollywood could get through the entire movie without trying to brainwash us into the woke ideology. Yeah. Taylor Swift would have made a better choice for Lois Lane. Crossing my fingers here. Hope we've healed from the woke nonsense of our past in Hollywood. Let's hope. This meme will never die. Nice 70s Superman vibe, but the trailer doesn't do it for me. It doesn't instill the feeling of hope that was needed. Poor trailer. Superdog, seriously? Sorry, there's the late Christopher Reeve and this guy. Yes, I know. I said it yesterday. Henry Cavill. Everybody wants Henry Cavill. I would have preferred Henry Cavill myself. But we have David Corn Sweat. Just feels and looks so cheap, and the snow scenes are literally copied from Man of Steel. This is just a CGI fest. I speak for everyone when I say we will not be watching No, you don't speak for me. There's some others I know you don't speak for. Henry Cavill will always be Superman. James Gunn can take a hike. I've never been more irritated with the director. Give us back Zack Snyder and Henry Cavill. This trailer is really the worst thing I saw for big 2025 movies, and I saw How to Train a Dragon LA. Too much things happen in a single movie. The SM costume looks like a Timu one. Luther looks like Eric Judor and Crypto. Dude, I'll give it a shot, but I'm still not 100% sold. I do like how the characters look comic book accurate. MCU times James Gunn saving the day. Overhyped, but like this part. For the first time ever, both Clark and Superman look absolutely different from each other. Yeah, I don't like the whole Clark look. He looks too young to me as Clark. Why isn't Crypto flying? Yeah, I would have loved to see Crypto fly in. That'd have been something instead of running in. Here's another Zack Snyder fan who really doesn't like this trailer. This is Superman. Not sure who that guy is. Y'all haters, where y'all at? That's just over on X. I mean, Batman, do you bleed? Superman, apparently, yes. This looks unreal. The music and visuals are fantastic. Please let this finally be a good Superman movie. Crypto really be that loyal dog leading you home after a drunken night. I remember watching Man of Steel with my dad when I was a kid. Good to see that Superman is back. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? It's a dog. I'm glad they still use the OG musical theme. It will forever be the Superman song. Yes, absolutely. I'm 1,153 years old and remember when I first read Superman on parchment paper, and this trailer makes me have feelings. I was 27 when the first one came out. I'm in my 70s now, and I can still remember the excitement of watching Christopher Reeve soar across the screen for the first time. I want to know if Lex is going to have an Otis. I asked that yesterday. Are we going to see Otis as Lex's lackey, right-hand man, whatever? I think that would be cool. If we had Otis in the movie. So there you have it. My take. To me, it looks good. I got no problem with this whatsoever. Well, except for maybe Nathan Fillion, Guy Gardner. Looks a little weird to me. Now, hopefully, this doesn't end up being a team-up movie, because Superman doesn't need a team-up movie. Superman needs a Superman movie. So we'll see. We'll see when the next trailer comes out, which I imagine will probably be in another couple of months. Well, I would guess there'll probably be at least 2 trailers before the movie comes out. So to me, it doesn't look bad. I'll go see it. It's Superman. Of course I'll go see it. It's Superman. Do I wish Henry Cavill was in it? Yeah. But we got what we got. Let's see what else we got here while I'm perusing the internet. Sonic is out tonight. Who's going to go see Sonic 3? I want to see Sonic 3. I think it looks badass. I think I'm hoping it beats out Mufasa in the box office this weekend. I think that would be great if it did beat Mufasa. Let's see here. What do we got here? The other new scenes in the theatrical version of Superman teaser trailer. So apparently here we've got this is before Sonic 3. So apparently here we have first teaser trailer for Superman has dominated a news cycle today, but we're not finished yet. The sneak peek is currently playing in theaters before Sonic 3 and includes scenes not featured in the version released online. Among them is an opposing shot of Mr. Terrific and another showing Lex Luthor wearing sunglasses, flaked by Ultraman and the Engineer. The latter two characters made a blink and you'd miss it appearance on the online trailer, so we're hoping to get a clear shot of them soon. That's probably who Clark or Superman was fighting in the stadium, was Ultraman. So, interesting little tidbit there. Shout out to Samir T in finding that and putting that out there. Lex looks like Pitbull. Oh, I gotta see this. It's Lex Luthor, Mr. Worldwide Pitbull. Yes. Oh man, that's great. That's just great. Lex looks like Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide. Oh, it's Metamorpho in Superman. I got that wrong. I said Mephisto or Mephisto. It's Metamorpho. So my bad. Totally my bad. Oh, what else we got here? It's Friday. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants. So Variety provides us a breakdown in the Superman trailer. Here we knew about Lois, we knew about Lex, Luthor Core, we saw that. Crypto, we saw that. Guy Gardner, yes. Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific, Clark Kent, Jonathan Kent, the Kent Farm, Metamorpho, Stag Industries. Okay, so that's where Metamorpho comes in. Okay. See, I've been out of the comic game for a little while. I haven't read all these. Jimmy Olsen. We saw Jimmy. He's got red hair. Cat Grant. Steve Lombard. Fortress of Solitude. Kellex. Okay. So that's okay. I was right then. I was right in assuming that was one of the robots in the fortress. And then you got the kaiju fight. So, okay. Variety's on top of it. How about that? Let's keep looking, y'all. Not really finding anything else here. Can't find really any more tidbits about Superman than we already know. Already talked about Karate Kid earlier this week. That looks pretty good. Got to check out Fortnite because a giant block of ice has appeared in Fortnite with a hilarious surprise inside. I'll have to check that out. I have to get on Fortnite later. For any of you Dexter fans out there, we got Dexter Resurrection. Going to be out on Showtime and Paramount Plus. I did watch the original series years ago, and then I watched the spin-off series. So I might check that out. Let's see here. Anything else that I can find? Oh, for those of you football fans out there, if you watched the game last night, you got to see a little bit of history as the first free kick successfully done in the NFL in 50 years. For those of you that don't know what a free kick is, it's at the end of the half. If there's a punt or a kickoff, the return team can call for a fair catch, and they can opt to try a free kick for a field goal for 3 points. Basically, the offense lines up like it's a kickoff. The defense has to stand 10 feet away. And you have a holder, just like a field goal attempt, and you try to kick a field goal. Well, last night during the Chargers-Broncos game, it was toward the end of the half, and the Broncos were punting. And the receiver for the Chargers called for a fair catch. And as he called for the fair catch, he got hit. And so the Broncos were flagged for fair catch interference, which marched the ball right on up to the Denver 47-yard line. And so knowing John Madden had suggested this numerous times over his broadcasting career, I kind of identified it right away as I was watching the game. And it took Jim Harbaugh a little bit to figure it out. In fact, he was sending the offense on the field, had to call a timeout, had a coach kind of tap him on the shoulder. They talked it over, decided to do the free kick, 57-yard field goal. It was good. And it was the first time there'd been a successful one since 1976. So a little bit of history there. And it was only like the 9th successful free kick in NFL history. I think they're like 9 out of 20, like 9 out of 29 or 7 out of 29 attempts over the history of the NFL. So that was something. And at the same time, I had Timcast on, and I was watching Tim Pool just destroy this lefty Gen Z kid that runs a YouTube channel and has a YouTube show, who doesn't know anything about anything. In fact, every time Tim Pool would ask him a question, the kid would respond asking Tim what were his thoughts on the question that Tim just asked. I mean, it was just, see if I can find it here. It was just bad. I mean, this kid knew nothing, zero. See if I can find this here. Oh, here it is. So I'm gonna play this. This is Tim just going off on this kid after they spent an hour or even more going back and forth about everything about J6ers. This kid was saying Trump is an authoritarian, he's a dictator. This clip here that I'm gonna play was specifically talking about J6ers when Tim asked them, what's wrong with pardoning the J6ers? Some of them have been in prison for 3 years. So what's wrong with pardoning them? And this smug little weasel, shout out to Bobby the Brain Heenan. Those of you that watched wrestling back in the day will know the reference. Just couldn't answer anything. So check this out.
You have.
No,
right?
I
So
haven't.
you, so,
The people
no,
that
no,
you
stop,
talk
stop.
about
You don't know
are-
anything about these January 6 cases. You don't know why these people are in jail. You don't know that a man is in Brooklyn right now for 3 years without charge or trial. And when Donald Trump says these people have been held for too long, you say, no, Trump is wrong. Keep them locked up. That's fucking fascist. Dude, you've been sitting here with no knowledge of the specifics of some of these cases. There is a man in Brooklyn right now. I'm going to say it again. No charges whatsoever brought. And he's been in jail for 3 fucking years. For you to sit there and say it is good that he remains locked up is fascism. That is saying the hierarchical system of the courts and the government is just, and the process is all that matters. And I am saying perhaps 3 years is enough. Because I actually have moral logic and an understanding of these cases. Hence, my position on January 6th has always been the people who have attacked police must go to prison. But 3 years is a fucking long time for assault on an officer. We have seen people on the far left, notably when they were firebombing shit all across Minnesota, 33 people murdered. And how many criminal charges did we get for this? When they firebombed a police station and forced the police to evacuate. On May 29th, 2020, when thousands of far leftists firebombed the White House grounds and set fire to St. John's Church and injured 100 police officers, how many fucking people went to prison for 3 years? How many of them who never showed up on that day are in prison for 20 years? Enrique Tarrio wasn't even in D.C. on January 6th. And you are saying that man who his only crime was, quote, don't leave. That's his only crime. You think he should be in prison for 20 years because you're a fascist. You don't care what the facts are. You don't care if this is unjust. You only care that the machine state has decreed you are not to be locked up. And this is the problem I have with the left. They don't know the facts. They don't care about the facts. They view morality as a blanket government stroke of the pen. And every person, regardless of their crime, should be in prison for decades. I reject it outright. The people who fought cops should go to prison. They did. It's been 3 years. But when you've got people who are on misdemeanor charges for having walked into a building at 4 p.m. after the riot, and I know some of these people, they walked into a building for 2 minutes and walked out, and they got 18 months for that. I don't see you defending the innocent people who walked onto a public grass at a public building after a riot had been completed. You don't know. You don't care. You have taken a tribal position and people are suffering because of it. Now you say that Donald Trump saying the injustice that we've seen warrants commutation or pardons. You say that means he's advocating for violence. This is the ultimate problem. Then you cite a press release from Maryland saying, but the right's more violent. There is a distinction between a white supremacist as a right-wing group and a run-of-the-mill Christian conservative who showed up on that day not to protest. Let's talk about Brandon Strzok. He never went in the building. He was on the other side of the building. There was a permitted protest. He walked up the stairs and he was yelling. They put this guy in prison. There is Owen Schroyer, who was at a permitted rally, who was yelling death to communists. They put him in prison and specifically cited his speech. My dude, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's fine. I get it. We try to be polite. We try to be nice. But there are so many young liberals who sit here and say, the corporate press told me that these people are bad and the machine state government has decreed it by pen. So I don't care what crime they committed. I don't care what the jury said. I don't care who was on the jury. Enrique Tarrio, who was not there, should be in prison for 2 decades. Tell me this now. Why is Enrique Tarrio in prison?
Yeah, so they uncovered with him his plot to overthrow the government.
Enrique Tarrio, is it?
Yeah, and his organization.
What plot? Who's they? Give me some
prosecutors.
Give me some fucking data. Stop squinting at me and saying the prosecutors did a thing. You didn't know. You didn't read it. You didn't read the court papers. All you know is the fascist machine state told you he should be in prison, and you're saying yes to them. Tell me why. Give me the data.
I understand that laws on the books have been there for a long time that I agree with, that if it's proven that you had a plan and you wanted to act on it,
the
and
proof?
then days
What's
after.
the proof?
The proof is
Say the
evidence brought
proof.
forward by
Don't ask.
prosecutors.
Say it.
Communications between
What communications?
him
What did he
and
say?
the
What did he
Proud Boys.
do?
Is this serious?
Are you
Or
going to tell me
grandstanding?
why you think Enrique Tarrio should be in prison for 20 years, or are you going to say the government decreed it?
I just explained to you.
So the government said so. Is that it?
It's usually law enforcement, which I guess is part of the government.
Government said so?
Yep.
So
Law
you can't
enforcement
stop why?
that uncovers evidence of communications, a memo that he crafted and sent to his organization.
Saying what?
That detailed each institution of government that they were going to try to overthrow. Then just days later, his organization is at the Capitol.
I don't think we can even pull up Enrique Tarrio.
I'm not quite sure that there's any evidence of that sort.
Yeah. You know what? I'll say this. The idea that Enrique Tarrio crafted a memo
Malicious
outlining
conspiracy, okay.
or they 3 months featured witness evidence issued at Tarrio and co-defense included videos, thousands of messages in encrypted chat groups, as well as a public message on Parler. On or before January 6th, Tarrio convened a Ministry of Self-Defense to coordinate Proud Boys leadership on January 6th. The chat showed that Tarrio, stationed in Baltimore, encouraged the Proud Boys as they attacked the Capitol. Let's figure out what that encouragement was. Are they going to actually say in the article? So here's a citation. Proud Boy and 3 other members of the FRIYAY groups were convicted Thursday in a plot to attack the Capitol. A jury in Washington, D.C. found Tarrio and 3 lieutenants guilty of seditious conspiracy after hearing dozens of witnesses. Jurors cleared a 5th defendant, Dominic Pizzola, on a citizen charge and a significant milestone of the Justice Department, which is now secured a conspiracy, blah, blah, blah. They will never stop. Okay, that's interesting. Wikipedia asserts that they did this, but there's actually nothing in the news article that actually states that is true. Well, now we got a problem. Let's try this again. Let's try a secondary source. Let's see. There it is. They introduced evidence that Tarrio discussed with associates a plan to have a large crowd in Washington storm government buildings in a scheme they called 1776 Returns, in which the Winter Palace was used as an apparent code for the U.S. Capitol. In a message, he said, make no mistake, we did this, do what must be done, and he directed the Proud Boys to do it again. So the question then becomes, in the bigger picture...
So are you going to at all acknowledge that you just blew up over something that I was absolutely citing fairly?
I don't think you cited it fairly.
I think people should be prosecuted for engaging in plans to overthrow a government. That's kind of
that's a very loose definition of plans to overthrow the government.
Y'all don't seem to be that informed.
Wait, look, respectfully, I cover a lot of protests and riots. A lot of people try to protest and riot and occupy government buildings. Do you think that qualifies as trying to, overthrow your government?
No.
Okay, good. So, I mean...
but if they had a plan to take control of the government, which was this one.
If this was an actual plan, this was the leastly poorly, most
over the government?
ridiculous plan ever. They went after people for having Lego sets of the Capitol. Yeah. I mean, the level of political prosecution. Would you even admit that there was some level of politics when it came to the prosecution of the J6ers? Would you say politics played a role in this?
Engaging with this as thoughtfully as possible, not trying to grandstand. Of course, often for very justifiable reasons, prosecutors will try to make an example of someone who, for example, tried to overthrow the government to prevent the peaceful transfer of power. I see why such a thing,
personally, I reject
categorized as sedition,
to overthrow the government,
would be uniquely bad to prosecutors and political in that this all involved politics, right? And thus,
I'm sorry, I have to say this.
Sent.
The Wikipedia article making those claims is not citing any actual proof that they said those things.
That's why you don't go to Wikipedia as a source. Tim should know that. Don't go to Wikipedia as a source. So thanks to Benny Johnson for clipping this from last night. This is just a small taste of last night's Timcast. And watching this, it was hard to watch because it went on and on and on. I mean, this kid had no clue about basic economics. course, he was always parroting the Donald Trump's authoritarian. He's an authoritarian. He's a dictator. Blah 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 blah. It was hard to watch. It was very hard to watch. So there you go. Hey, at least it's Friday. I hope everybody has a good day. I'm gonna end the stream on that note. So if you would like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos or miss when I go live. I try to go live, trying to get in the habit of going live Monday through Friday daily. There might be a day here or a day there that I might miss, but gonna try to make it a regular thing. And hope everybody has a great Friday, has a great weekend, and I will see you all on Monday. Everybody have a good one.